Hello, Wojciech Pietrzak here. Online World Cup 2021 is just beginning. Round first, the opponent Edward Prem from USA, although he got USSR this game. $60 minutes per game per player and absolutely no tolerance for exceeding this time due to schedule. So let's start. This is going to be a very poor hand if purged, so I think defectors is a must for starters, and still not a very good hand, so I guess no fighting for France immediately, just disallowing him to purge me in the headline. If he headlines something irrelevant and then purges, oh well. Okay, I defected Europe scoring. Perhaps not the most worth thing I could have defected. So, now the game begins. Vietnam perhaps to space, decall maybe to hold with UN intervention played for op, Korean War probably to get rid of. NATO is unclear because blockade is waiting somewhere. Okay, he cleared Iran. I'm not a big fan of this outcome. I won't be able to avoid playing Korean War, I guess. So let's trigger it ASAP. Good enough. South Korea taken. One of the risky moves I could play would be Vietnam revolts followed by Vietnam coup, but I don't like playing it unless I am really forced to. Okay, so this went empty. Okay, this is somewhat risky. If he has duck and cover, he may coup Malaysia now, with 2/3 success of getting access to Thailand. But still, I can break Malaysia and attempt to fight for Thailand directly. Okay, he's one tempo ahead, but he could Lebanon, so I have to counter coup, I guess. A very good role, giving me military operations, not all that I need, but so far enough, plus he no longer has distal source of influence there. So he was the first in space. Never mind about that. He's leading by 1 VP instead of me, but I feel I had to play my moves exactly when they were played. But now I feel I have to play decal with UN intervention. Okay, Middle East scoring to be able to respond to blockade. And I probably should lower DEFCON, so or maybe not, let's think a while. With Defcon at 5 he may try to coup Italy, but if I put 1 to France, I have access to Italy, and I have access to West Germany, so I can ignore blockade, I mean not discard NATO, and then put, say, 2 in West Germany and break North Korea. The issue is, if I play UN intervention for op, I have to play it now and play it into France or Benelux to be able to avoid discarding for blockade. Maybe this is what I should do. Especially that I don't really have good target for the second op. There are many of good targets, but none of them is really tempting. Okay. Let's go for it. In case of blockade, no discarding, just repairing 2 in West Germany and breaking North Korea. And 2 victory points given off for Milops, but that's not the end of the world. Probably it's gonna pay off by not giving them in some of the further turns, in turn 2 namely. Of course I could coup with NATO in my last action round, maybe even in North Korea. Maybe it's worth 2/3 chance of breaking it anyway. And military operations. Okay, never mind about that. He lowered Defcon, so only 1 point lost. And he secured North Korea. So dominating Asia is worth anyway. This way. About other points. With Defcon at 2, it would be really tempting to go to France, but with Defcon at 3, he's able to headline the goal. No really downsides of taking France, because he may respond to my coup. And I may not realign France. On the other hand, he is gonna be able to coup Thailand. So maybe this is what I should do. Yet another hand that I don't like. But Olympic Games at least has no downside risk of Defcon suicide, so let it be. Decal for space race, distal for hold, or for blockade maybe. And a goal. As said earlier about this. Oh, and he won Olympic Games. That was unlucky. And back into France. Interesting. What about Truman? And Marshall. Yeah, I know, didn't go, just wanted to clarify my mind, but... Okay, let's check how much he cares about France. Because it looked really weird that it was Indo-Pakistani war that he used. Of course, this increases the impact of Suez Crisis. I didn't want to play Suez Crisis earlier, on the other hand, due to Egypt access. And playing Suez Crisis into Egypt and France first, nah. I could play Norad into Egypt and France, but in this case he could just fill France with Truman before the event. I could use nuclear test plan for the same, but it would be just going to France for 2 ops before triggering Suez Crisis, so basically the same. Now at least he gave me an Asian event, Asia being the region to be scored. So I can give up France, I probably should give up France and give up Europe, by the way. But I don't have to give up Milops. How about cooing North Korea now? I need a 4 to take anything from there. I need a 5, assuming I use Comic-Con, because that's the best card to perform a coup. I need a 5 to make him any harm there. So Iraq looks better. Okay, let's go for this. After all, I want to degrade DEFCON and then step by step start threatening India and Pakistan to stop him from easy equalizing Asia. And I already agreed that Europe's no longer mine. I rolled a 5, so I could attempt North Korea, but Iraq attempt was as good as it could be under the circumstances. Problem is I'm getting rid of good cards to play. Suez Crisis is basically a 1, because 2 of them have to go to Egypt. I'd like to have a neutral 2 to play Laos, Cambodia and Iran at once. The good news, CIA is still somewhere around. The bad news, he doesn't have any influence, making CIA a DEFCON suicide card. And he's not gonna, otherwise than with Fidel. Not a bad call, I must say. Switching plans in this case. I'm risking Nasser with its full impact, but DEFCON is at 3. On the other hand, I'm lowering the risk of being wiped off Iran. And he should start fighting for Pakistan. But if he does, I don't have good cards to fight for Pakistan, because none of them work for breaking. Nuclear test ban, I should save it for harder times. Oh, and the China card probably ends the topic and the story. Okay, let's start spacing. Or maybe just... I'd like to coup, deny him a coup. But I don't have good targets. And I don't have good cards to do it. Successful. So maybe he responds with a coup. Sorry, with a space race attempt. I didn't want to use Romanian abdication because it would give him free European domination. Now it no longer does. I mean, he already has it. Not a big deal, actually. Cooing Israel is not something I really want to do, but I think that's the best possible thing to do because I want to have a free AR6 play, and I want DEFCON to be at 3 at the beginning of the next turn. Due to CIA issues. Now my plan is to break North Korea or Pakistan with nuclear test ban. Because Asia is the only scoring left. Yep. It's not enough to do anything in Asia. Too few countries, so let's give it up and what? I could play it for an event, gaining 2 extra points, but I don't want to leave West Germany so vulnerable to realignments. Instead, I can just grab 2 VPs and grab Middle East. China card in my hand, CIA in my hand, I don't like this one. Asia scoring in his hand. Marshall may be even helpful to some extent. First, let's purge him, making my Middle East rather safe. Maybe I will trigger Marshall and fight for equalizing the number of countries in Europe. Of course, if he has Europe scoring this turn, he is gonna be able to score it before I can make it, but if he doesn't, I should have enough time to do it before the next turn. And it's a lucky draw. I got socialists, I got blockade. He headlined Nasser, which was rather expectable. Now even if he coups in the Middle East, NORAD to Saudi Arabia should secure me some domination. Unless he goes into Israel, but it would require from him another 4-up card. NATO, yeah. Maybe this. Okay, going with the Cambridge 5. Just couldn't have succeeded. So go to Saudi Arabia or not. or fight for Asia, because this is also an option still. Fighting for Asia is too expensive, okay. Saudi Arabia is only 1 victory point for 3 ops. More deserved in Europe. He has Asia, so let's check if he has Europe as well. If he does, the scoring should come now. Oh, he did. Okay, let's get rid of this one and then start spreading using low ops cards I have. I could theoretically try to earn one more in Asia with Afghanistan, but this is not worth. I'd rather hold China card where it is. Angola, Zaire, Algeria, this should be of my interest. Okay, no longer of Algeria. So that's first space. This was successful. No reason for spacing another card. He may have 5-year plan and plan to discard Asia. This is another thing. Worth considering. Ooh, oh, he might have this one. Damn, should have gone to Algeria, to Angola earlier. Now I have to do things like this. Still unsure about African outcome. He evented this whole. Goodbye. So now I assume 5-year plan, because he wasn't playing as if he was intending to score Asia actually. Yeah, I laughed at it too. This doesn't look very promising. On the other hand, +1 for me will be 0 after Milops counting. Equal Americas, almost equal Southeast Asia, and only Africa being problematic. And yes, as... No. That was, of course, not what I intended to do. I don't know why I clicked this. And this is a great hand, and even after Missile Envy, it still is a great hand. Okay, let's think a while to avoid wasting it. Yeah, bear trap has to go. To take initiative. I'm thinking about Cuban Missile Crisis to secure Colombia. But I feel Colombia is better secured by direct cooing with 4 ops cards. I should get a battleground coup for, let's say, Zaire. Voice of America should help where needed. And this is really a superb hand, but also a very easy to waste. As a result of such a hand, I should end up dominating Africa and at least one of the Americas, without losing the other one. But of course he may respond with a Quagmire and kitchen debates. Okay, it's empty, I guess now, but it suggests that okay, his hand could be weak. And yes, he got rid on the first attempt. So let's take the first risk now. And I rolled a 6. Ooh. Somebody gets lucky today, and this is not my opponent. The most stupid thing in the situation may be that I may end up with no good targets for the Voice of America. It's not worth playing the China card, in my opinion. And it's not worth triggering the Chinese events. Usuri River Skirmish for Ops is something I'm really considering. But now I need another high roll here. I got a 4, which was enough. You hardly ever see cooing Colombia with NATO, but this was the case of just needing it. His hand shouldn't be very strong if he had headlined kitchen debates, so and he's in a must of winning a coup war of Colombia. So Usuri or Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't want to use Voice America now here. I think Cuban Missile Crisis is the best I can have now. He rolled a 5, then I rolled a 4, then he rolled a 1. Then I rolled a 5, maybe winning the war on America. ABM Treaty is now my only 4-ops card, which may hurt under Missile Envy, but I certainly can do better than what I can do now with it. For example, Coup Zaire. Or even played for ops. I mean, I don't really have to increase DEFCON. Okay. Did you get rid of all the cards you could play painlessly? Because if so, I should probably use Usuri to take Venezuela and go to Mexico. Africa scoring okay, so Americas are subject to fight. And the Voice of America may hit Southeast Asia eventually. Because why not? ABM Treaty, a very good card to be held. Salt and Distal. Okay. So I think I'm gonna have a surprise for you, because the Voice of America is the great counter to Distal, and it's a very direct counter, since I can just grab anything he gets. But first, let's try to wipe him off France. Successless. He may now try the same thing on Italy and West Germany. But this is probably against his plans of what to do with the hand. Not easy to decide with such a high defcon. I only had +1 in France. It would be easier if I had taken UK earlier, but I didn't. Europe is not that urgent, but it is important indeed, and sooner or later I'll have to do something about it. Summit with a coup, probably degrading DEFCON. Yep. Panama. In this case, I think I'll take my chance on Pakistan and then just grab the China card back. Lowering DEFCON looks like playing onto his side. Oh, and another 6 for a coup I rolled. Because with DEFCON at 2 he may freely destall. But I have the Voice of America, so he would have to destall in the headline. Or play combo like Quagmires or so. And even then, he would have to choose between lowering DEFCON and improving wherever he defaults to. But not too easy game to play, I must say. The regions led Southeast Asia slightly on his side, South America on my side, but volatile, Central America on nobody's side, and hard to say what the outcome is. About scored regions, Europe is on his side, but I don't need very much to repair it. I have 4 countries to be taken for 1 of each. Middle East is on my side, but only as long as Muslim Revolution doesn't show up. Although, after Sadat, even Muslim Revolution doesn't stop me from dominating Middle East. Asia should be dominated by me if I take Southeast Asian countries. But with Vietnam on his side, it's gonna be 7-7. And Indo-Paki is still somewhere there waiting for its turn. I think the best attempt he could do now is to coup Angola, because whoa. I really didn't want to see Kennedy played with such a hand on my side. You know what? Let's have this DEFCON on 4. This D-style is more problematic. You can't recoup Pakistan and China and Thailand with the China card. I can respond to your coup with a counter coup. I probably can play a free OPEC. Oh, and I have to select card to Hellline. Sadat expels Soviets, it's cheap. Freeze OPEC. Now for my hand, Allende is unpleasant. Giving him access to where I would like to avoid seeing him. I would also like to see Junta headlined by him now, followed by a coup and followed by another coup. Muslim Revolution before Sadat is, on the other hand, something not as bad. He can't really cut me access off unless he follows it by a successful Pakistan coup or Indo-Pakistani war. If it's Indo-Pakistani war, I could coup Cambodia or Indonesia, fighting for this region. Willy Brandt is mostly painless, but I think I'm gonna space it anyway if I can spare the ops. Warsaw Pact should certainly wait for Distal to be played. And it is unpleasant because it increases the number of his European countries, making it harder to equalize Europe. Iran-Iraq is the best choice for him for all the Pakistan reasons, followed by coupping Pakistan with the best card he has. But, of course, this gives up the second coup. Probably losing Zaire. This still would be an annoying headline now. It would be annoying to see him taking all the influence from Egypt before Salat triggers. Of course, he has some sources of points like France, Finland, Bulgaria, Austria. But yeah, with Bulgaria it lessens the impact of Warsaw Pact formed. Defector's influence, oh! This is an interesting attempt. Maybe he's trying to realign Pakistan at +2. Okay, I shouldn't allow it, and this should perform several tasks at once. Free OPEC, disallow realigning Pakistan, that's for sure, even if the coup fails, DEFCON is lowering. The drawback is I'm giving him counter coup, and I can no longer coup Southeast Asia. 3 was just enough. And rolling this gives him an unpleasant dilemma whether to coup or to shore Iraq. No. Shuttle diplomacy may be helpful to trigger for it, which is somewhat surprising. But I feel that after his move I will have more urgent things to do. I haven't seen the Cultural Revolution, no. So Usuri is discarded and will come back. I wouldn't like to play the China card until Long Gunman is somewhere there, especially that Kennedy is gone. Oh, now I saw Cultural Revolution. And I don't think it was a good move. Because he's leaving me a coup. Basically disallowing himself to fight for South America. Unless he has junta. But even junta doesn't come with good effect. I know, he has Distal and he's counting on Distal, but on turn 5 he should calculate the Voice of America already as the potential counter. Oh, another 6. As the potential counter to Distal. Other than Distal and Junta, he's helpless in South America as long as I control Allende. Liberation theology could help in Central America. If you have it. Now, arms race is tempting as an event, shuttle diplomacy is tempting as an event, but sparing these 6 ops is not tempting, because I need some ops. Shuttle diplomacy is much more speculative than arms race, so probably it's gonna be the first to use. The drawback of saving Voice of America against Distal is that I can no longer play it against Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is gonna score once only. There's 1 more turn and a half to take care of Europe and Asia. Perhaps giving up Middle East, or maybe not. Camp David is gonna be useful, but okay, so it came now. Finland, Romania, Austria, Nigeria. Who said the Voice of America can't remove influence from Europe? Successful with spacing. So, just to secure, because this can easily fall. Yep, that's basically true. I wonder, but why didn't he play this for event? Okay, now arms race question. Arms race is of course tempting for any event. Let's play Warsaw Pact. First, just because I want to get rid of this event. And it would be good to start serious fight for Central America. In the meantime, some better position in Europe can't do me any harm. I didn't want to go to Uruguay because if he had won coup war there, he would have quite easy time equalizing South America. Now I'm vulnerable to Che. Event. Middle East has been scored and Camp David is waiting still. Okay. I'll wait for you. I'm gonna see your headline. So if I have to react to something immediately with arms race, I will. Otherwise, I'm gonna cash 3 victory points. So I have 11, Southeast Asia and Central America are waiting. And I can see his headline. And I have yet another superior hand. Central America. About Southeast Asia, colonial rearguards is just ideal, and ideally timed. Our man in Tehran is also something I can't complain about. The best description of my luck from about turn 4, yeah, the beginning of the mid-war, is that I don't really have good target for brush war, although this is probably gonna change after he triggers Liberation Theology. Okay then. All the 3 in Southeast Asia, because Southeast Asia hasn't been scored, and Burma, it's adjacent to India, giving yet another Indo-Pakistani war better chance. Not an easy decision for him what to do. He may cash 2 victory points, 1 victory point from Central America immediately by breaking Mexico, breaking Guatemala and placing one somewhere else to gain presence, giving me battleground coup. Yeah, this leaves me with the same dilemma I left him. Whether to lower DEFCON or not. About brush war, I'm really seriously considering Spain-Portugal. Oh, duck and cover, yes. Indeed. And of course, Central America and Southeast Asia, because you desperately need these ops. If I had Panama, Central America would be 5. Not enough to win. But if I had it after Rush War, it would be enough to win, because it would be 15 here. On the other hand, it's now 0. But he can easily boost Southeast Asia. So let's first... Just one more thing. Oh yeah, Vietnam revolts. Vietnam revolts. I don't have a good 3-op card to play for ops. Okay, so let's provoke the Vietnam revolts if he has them. At least this tells something about his hand and gives me some more time. Plus, I will be spacing Quagmire, I will be triggering Indopaki, I will be triggering Brush War, plethora of options to gain victory points, and I'm seriously thinking of keeping how I learned as long as I can, to be able to maybe grab 5 victory points at the end of the turn, because these victory points may be just ending the game. John Paul, you don't have Vietnam revolts. This is what I read from this move. Okay, let's first free our hand. No victory points from here. Maybe I should have first played the Brush War. Still. He can attack Central America with Junta. It's still not that straightforward to win. I want to trigger you anyway. Portuguese Empire. Discard this. The bad news is Long Gunman isn't here. And the good news is I know he doesn't have Central America scoring. I will probably target Spain-Portugal with Brush War. Long Gunman influence. And failed. So changing plans. Indo-Pakistani war, not against India, but to secure European countries' number. Spacing nuclear subs. Keeping him busy somehow. OAS then to break Panama. I know he should have Panama Canal returned somewhere. But break Panama, go to Argentina to make him find no time to coup. Okay, Southeast Asia scoring, this is good. I gained these 2. It's ugly right now. Yes, I see his point. If he coups, he gets military operations. But I'm then still dominating. If he wants to deny my domination, he has to place something in Panama, in which case how I learned to stop worrying is winning me the game. Seeing his headline, oh, he evented this so that he got military operations. I want to gain these 3 victory points anyway. Now I see his headline, and without seeing his headline I may safely say that nuclear test ban is going to win me the game as soon as I headline it. So thank you for watching, and new games to come very, very soon, because Online World Cup has 8 rounds, 4 in Saturday and 4 in Sunday. I shouldn't tell him it before he chooses the headline, because it doesn't look good. The game is still on. I'm just calculating variations, but I may be wrong. But now I safely can do it.